Hello friends, welcome to all of you in today's session. Today we'll be talking about how to increase the speed of your doing mathematical calculation. What are the ways and means by which you can increase it? What are the steps you should take? What things you need to develop within yourself so that you can increase the speed of your doing mathematical calculation. Apart from that, we'll be seeing the sutras and subsutras, those are being used in Vedic mathematics. And also we'll see how to use the sutras in real practical problems. Get an bird's eye view, an idea about how to use these formulas. So the first thing first is the requirement to increase the speed of your doing mathematical calculation. So this is the process by which you can develop your speed. And for that, there are 5 ways, things which you have to remember, which you have to practice, which you have to develop within yourself. The first point is that you need to increase the speed of your doing calculation by increasing the speed of your processor in the brain. You have to increase the speed of your processor. You have to do it faster calculation by increasing the speed of your processor. The second point is you need to learn the formulas and shortcuts for doing mathematical calculations. There are certain formulas, there are certain shortcuts which you need to know, which you need to use in doing Vedic mathematics, which will help you to do your mathematical calculation quickly and easily. The third point is you need to develop and manage your memory. For doing mathematical calculation, it's very important to increase and develop your memory, which will be used in many places. So you need to develop your memory. Fourth point is you need to develop your logical thinking. While doing mathematical calculation, you need to think logically how you can solve a particular problem. So you need to develop that logical thinking, right? If you can increase your logical thinking, the more logical thinking you develop within yourself, the better you will be able to face your practical problems and you will be able to solve this. The fifth, the last but not the least, the most important point is you may increase the speed of your calculation, you may remember the formulas and shortcuts of doing Vedic mathematics, doing the mathematical calculations, you may develop your memory, you may develop a logical thinking, but if you do not practice, nothing will happen. You need to practice regularly so that you can really develop the speed of your doing mathematical calculation. The first thing that increasing the speed of your processor, I will be telling you that certain ways and means by which can probably increase the speed of your processor, which we'll be talking about in this particular session. The second thing is learning the formulas and shortcuts. You need not remember those formulas and shortcuts, but you need to, when you practice it, you will automatically remember those formulas and where a particular formula is going to be utilized, to be used in a particular problem, which problem will require which formula and all that, you will remember over a period of time. And today I will show you the sutras and subsutras, a list of those things which you need not remember, but you should be familiar with it, and I will show you that today. Developing and managing memory is a process of practice. The more you practice, the memory will also increase. The more you face a problem, and then it will help you to increase your memory. Similarly, when you face different problems, try to solve it, you will develop your logical thinking, which is a process which will be gradually developed within you. And practice, there is no other way out but to practice, you have to do it yourself. So if you can have these 5 steps, follow these 5 steps, increase the speed of calculation by your processor, learn the formulas and shortcuts, develop and manage your memory, develop your logical thinking, and then you practice, you will definitely improve the speed of your doing mathematical calculation. So now what you're going to see, we are now going to see the sutras and subsutras. There are 16 sutras and 13 subsutras. The formulas and corollaries, will be seeing those. You need not remember it as I told you earlier, but you should be familiar with it. You should know that these are the sutras, and sutras looks like this, right? You should be familiar with it. So now let us see the sutras and subsutras being used in Vedic mathematics. Let us see that. You will find the Vedic sutras here, the sutras and its meaning. Ekadhikena purvena, by one more than the one before, Nikhilam Navatashkaram Dashataha, all from 9 and the last from 10, urdhavatirgabhyam, vertically and crosswise, parvartiya yojoyet, transpose and apply. Sunyam samaya samukaya, if the samukaya is the same, it is 0. Anurupe, sunyamanyat, if one is in the ratio, the other is 0. Sankalana, vyabakalana bhyam, by addition and by subtraction. Purana puranabhyam, by the completion or non-completion. Kalana kalanabhyam, differential calculus. Yavadunam, by the deficiency. Vyasti shamashti, specific and general. Sesanyana kena karamena, the remainders by the last digit. Sopanati yadavyamantiyam, the ultimate and twice the penultimate. Ekanuvena purvena, by one less than the one before. Gunita samukaya, the product of the sum. Gunaka samukaya, all the multiples. Anurupiyena, proportionately. Sisayate sheshamajyana, the remainder remains constant. Adyamadyanantiyamantiyena, the first by the first and last by the last. Kevalya saptakam gunayet, for 7 the multiplicand is. Vestanam, by osculation. Yavadunam tavadunam, lessened by the deficiency. Yavadunam tavaduna kritya, whatever the deficiency, lessened by the amount and set up the square of the deficiency. Antiyaradha sakepai, last totaling 10. Antiyao reba, only the last terms. Samukayo gunita, the sum of the products. Lopana sthapanabhyam, by alternative elimination and retention. Bilokanam, by mere observation. Gunita samukaya, samukayo gunita, the product of the sum is the sum of the products. Well, friends, you have seen the sutras and subsutras being used in Vedic mathematics. Then exhaustive list of all the sutras and subsutras, which over a period of time you'll become familiar as and when you practice the Vedic mathematics problems. Right. Now we're going to see how this sutra can be used in a particular problem. In a particular problem, we're going to use the sutras. The sutras are hints for using certain things in a particular problem. So let us see the application of sutras in practical problems. One very important sutra which we'll generally use in many cases, which is called in Sanskrit as ekadhikena purvena, which in English we call it as by one more than the one before. By one more than the one before. Than the one before. Right? By one more than the one before. Now this sutra, let me show you how we're going to use in a particular problem. Say for example, we are going to use multiply 35 with 35. In Vedic mathematics, you should know that in what kind of particular problem will require what kind of sutra. I'll discuss about this, what kind of problem is this later on in its respective position, respective session. But today I'll show you how I'm going to use this particular sutra here. This sutra says, by one more than the one before. The one before is 3. Before this number 5, the number is 3. This is the hint here. And by one more than that, one more than 3 is what? How much? 4. It says that by one more than the one before, you multiply this 3 with this 4 and it's 12. This much hint is enough for us to understand. 3 into 4 is 12 and 5 into 5 is 25, and here is the answer. 35 into 35 is 1225. We need not do all those elaborate calculations. So this formula says by one more than the one before, one more than this one before number 3, one more than that 4, 3 into 4 is 12, 5 into 5 is 25, and that is the answer. This is how we have used this particular sutra in this particular problem. Right. Now let me see another sutra, just for understanding that how we're going to use the sutras in practical problems. The sutra is called, in Sanskrit it's called as urdhava tirgabhyam. Urdhava tirgabhyam which in English we call as vertically and crosswise. Vertically and crosswise. Well, this is a hint given how to do a problem. Now in multiplication, whenever we are multiplying two different numbers, when there is no other method applicable, this particular sutra will be applicable for doing a multiplication of two numbers. Say for example, we need to multiply 27 with 23. Here, suppose we want to use this vertical and crosswise here, right? Because vertical and crosswise can be used anywhere, in any problem, no issue. So what do we do? Vertical and crosswise. One thing is, vertically means what? This is vertically. When you multiply these two numbers with each other, 7 with 3 is known as vertical. This 2 into 2 is known as vertical. And what do you mean by crosswise? Crosswise is this. When you multiply 2 with 3, it's crosswise. When you multiply 2 with 7, it's crosswise. So what we'll be doing is to do the multiplication straight away in one line, not in the conventional 2-3 lines. We'll straight away do the calculation here. How? First vertically, 7 into 3, 21. I write 1 here and 2 is carry. 2 is carry. Then 2 into 3 crosswise is 6 plus 2 carry 8 plus 7 into 2 is 14. 14 plus 8, 22. I write 2 here and 2 is carry. Now vertically take it 2 into 2, 4 plus that carry 2 taken 6. So answer is 621. I'll show you once again. 7 into 3 is vertically 21. We put 1 here. 2 is carry. 3 into 2, 6 plus 2, 8. 7 into 2, 14 plus 8, 22. 2 here, 2 carry. 2 into 2, 4 plus 2, 6, 21. Don't worry, this is a method which we'll be discussing in its particular session. Right? Here I am simply showing you that this formula, vertical and crosswise, is being used here. Vertically and crosswise. Otherwise, these particular problems will be solved, done in its respective session where this will be used. Right? So, you have seen how we are going to apply certain sutras in real mathematical problems. Right? So today we have seen, what do you have seen today? We have seen that what is the requirement for increasing the speed of your calculation, doing mathematical calculation, which things you need to develop within yourself, which things you should practice, number one. Then you've seen the list of sutras and subsutras. And then we have seen how to use a particular sutra in a particular real practical problem. So with that, today's session we are going to end here. In the next session, I'll show you the sample of speed, the speed that I have talked about, that increase the speed of your processor. What is that sample? You will be able to understand what is that speed is all about, what is that speed is, right? So with that, thank you very much for the day. Take care and see you again in the next session.